My daughter's diary revealed something I'll never forgive myself for. Emma was 13 when she started keeping secrets. She'd come home from school quiet, rush to her room, and barely speak during dinner. I thought it was typical teenage stuff. The fights started over little things. She'd snap at me for asking about homework or get upset when I suggested family movie night. My wife said it was normal adolescent behavior, but something felt wrong. Emma's grades dropped from A's to C's. Her teacher said she seemed distracted and withdrawn. When I tried to talk to her about it, she'd just say, "Everything's fine," and shut down completely. I started working longer hours at the office, partly because we needed the money after the divorce, but also because home felt tense and uncomfortable. I told myself I was being a good provider, but really I was avoiding the problem. One night I found her crying in the kitchen at 2 a.m. When I asked what was wrong, she looked at me with these hollow eyes and said, "You wouldn't understand." Then she went back to her room and locked the door. I stood there in the dark kitchen feeling completely helpless. My own daughter didn't trust me enough to share what was hurting her. I wanted to follow her upstairs, but I didn't know what to say. I was cleaning her room while she was at her mom's house when I found the diary under her mattress. I know I shouldn't have read it, but I was desperate to understand what was happening to my little girl. The first entry I read was from 3 months ago. Dad asked about my day again. I wanted to tell him about the bullies, but he looked so tired from work. He's already stressed about money. I don't want to be another problem. I kept reading, feeling sicker with each page. Entry after entry of Emma protecting me from her pain. She wrote about kids at school calling her fat, teachers ignoring her when she raised her hand, feeling invisible and worthless. She described sitting alone at lunch every day, eating in the bathroom to avoid the cafeteria, where nobody wanted her at their table. She wrote about faking stomach aches to avoid PE class because kids made fun of how she looked in gym clothes. But the worst part was reading how she saw me. Dad always seems so busy and important. I don't want to bother him with my stupid problems. He's got real adult stuff to worry about. I'd been so focused on providing for our family after the divorce that I'd completely missed my daughter falling apart. She thought my work stress meant I didn't have time for her problems. There was one entry that completely destroyed me. I wish Dad would just ask me how I'm really doing and actually wait for an answer. But I know he's got more important things to worry about than a stupid 13-year-old. Another entry from last week. I tried to tell Dad about the mean girls today, but his phone rang and he took the call. He looked relieved to have an excuse not to listen. I guess work is more important than me. The last entry was from yesterday. I've decided to stop trying to talk to Dad. He's happier when I don't bother him with my feelings. Maybe if I'm quieter, he'll be less stressed. I sat on her bed holding that diary and realized I'd failed her completely. She'd been screaming for help in the quietest way possible, and I'd been too distracted to hear her. I thought about all the times she'd started to say something and I'd cut her off to take a work call. All the dinners where I'd been on my phone instead of listening. All the moments when she needed her dad and got a distracted stranger instead. When Emma came home, I was waiting in the living room with her diary in my hand. She saw it and started crying immediately, thinking she was in trouble. I pulled her onto the couch and said, "Emma, I'm so sorry. Tell me about your day, and I promise I'll listen to every word." She looked at me like she didn't believe it was real. Then she started talking, and I listened like my life depended on it. Sometimes the people who need us most are the ones trying hardest not to be a burden.